Now in this video, let us try to learn some more characteristics of the print function. Specifically, we are going to learn how we can merge the content of two different print functions in one line. By default, in Python, the content of two different print functions are printed in different lines. But how can we merge it in the same line? Let's try to clarify that with a demo. So let's try with the first previous program. Here I have taken an input as a enter a number, and then in the next line what I have done, I have converted that input to floating point number and then added 2 with it and then stored it inside result variable. And then in the next line I have printed first a customized message like number is, then followed by the actual value of the result. So that's what I did. Now let's, for the demo purpose of two different print function, how it works, let us do some more operation, like let's say result2 equals uh, float. Again, let's say converting this float to I to this, and this time instead of doing +2, I'm just doing -2 in here. So and then I'm just print the result, like let's say the result of the subtraction is equals result 2. And well, here instead of writing the number, since we are dealing with addition and subtraction, so let's do it like the result of addition is result, and then in the second print function I wrote like the result of the subtraction is result 2. So now let us see how Python print both of them. So we have used two different print function. So if I run it, first it is asking me for a number. Let's enter 6, and then if I hit enter, on the first line it has printed the result of addition is 8. Then in the second line it is printing the content of the second print function, that is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. So both the content of two different print functions are printed in two different lines. But how can I remove this line break over here and bring the content of the second print function in the same line? In order to do that, you have to use something called end after the print function. So whenever you want to replace the line break or this new line with some of your choice of characters or string, you have to do something like this. I want to replace the new line after the first print. So right after the first print, what you have to do is you have to write after comma, then you have to write end, then equals, then the character with which you want to replace it. Well, not character, a string. Let's say I want to replace the last new line with a space like this. So here I have specified space. So now if I just run this program with the same input, let's say 6, and now if I hit enter, as you can see that first output of the first print, that is the result of addition, is 8. Then instead of a new line, it have been replaced with a small space here, and then the content of the second print function, that is the result of the subtraction, is 4. And well, you really do not need to specify to only one space. You can add as many space as you want. Let's increase the spaces. Let's see whether it can increase it or not. As you can see here, the number of spaces have been increased. And well, you really do not need to do it to restrict yourself to spaces. Sometimes you may need like, well, let's call it replaced or something like this. So let's see whether this replaced have been printed here or not, just before between these two content. So if I just run it with the same input 6 and well and now if I run it, as you can see, first it printed the content of the first print statement, then instead of a line break it printed replace the line break with this entire string, that is several spaces, after that replaced, followed by again several spaces, and then the content of the second print function.